Hello and welcome to the Rule 24 video, and congratulations on learning all of the prescribed lights from the previous video. In this video, which is a Rule 24 video, we're going to focus on towing and pushing. So get your notepad ready and let's jump right in. Rule 24A states that a power-driven vessel, when towing, shall exhibit, instead of the light prescribed in Rule 23A Item 1 or A Item 2, two masthead lights in a vertical line when the length of the tow, measuring from the stern of the towing vessel to the after end of the tow, exceeds 200 meters. Three such lights in a vertical line. Side lights, a stern light, and a towing light in a vertical line above the stern line, and when the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, a diamond shape where it can best be seen. Okay, so that was a lot of information, and to better help you understand this rule, let's take a look at this diagram. This diagram shows the towing vessel. Since the vessel is a power-driven vessel, they will display the lights of a power-driven vessel. But since a vessel is engaged in towing, they're going to display a second white masthead light and the yellow towing light above the stern light. Now, if the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, they're going to display a third white masthead light, and then by day, they're going to display a diamond day shape. And the day shape shall be placed where it can best be seen. Rule 24B states that when a pushing vessel and a vessel being pushed ahead are rigidly connected in a composite unit, they shall be regarded as a power-driven vessel and exhibit the lights prescribed in Rule 23. So what this simply means is that the vessel is being pushed ahead by a tugboat, right? But the one main call out of the rule is that they are rigidly connected. So they are connected as one solid piece. And when they are connected as one solid piece, they will display the lights as a power-driven vessel. Rule 24C states that a power-driven vessel, when pushing ahead or towing alongside, except in the case of a composite unit, shall exhibit, instead of the lights prescribed in Rule 23A Item 1 or 23A Item 2, two masthead lights in a vertical line, side lights, and a stern light. So this diagram shows you what the rule is stating. The towing or pushing vessel will show the lights of a power-driven vessel. They will also have the second masthead light on, and this indicates that they're engaged in towing, but they will not have the yellow towing stern light on. The yellow towing stern light is only used when you have a tow behind the vessel. Rule 24D states that a power-driven vessel to which paragraph A or C of this rule apply shall also comply with the Rule 23A Item 2. So what this rule is stating is that if a vessel is larger than 50 meters in length, they would need to display a second masthead light. So to refresh your memory, Rule A Item 2 stated that vessels over 50 meters needed to have a second masthead light that needs to be placed behind or abaft the first masthead light, and it needs to be placed at a higher elevation. Rule 24E states that a vessel or object being towed, other than those mentioned in paragraph G of this rule, shall exhibit side lights, a stern light, when the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, a diamond shape where it could best be seen. Okay, so let's take a look at this diagram. And this example shows you what the rule is stating. Since the vessel being towed is moving, it must display side lights and a stern light. Secondly, since the tow is being pulled behind the towing vessel would need to display the yellow towing stern light and the second masthead light. Now, if the tow were to exceed 200 meters, they would need to display the third masthead light and the diamond day shape where it could best be seen. Rule 24F states that provided that any number of vessels being towed alongside or pushed in a group shall be lighted as one vessel. If a vessel being pushed ahead, not being part of a composite unit, shall exhibit at the forward end side lights, and a vessel being towed alongside shall exhibit a stern light and at the forward end side lights. So in this example, you see what the rule is stating for item 1 of this rule. The vessel is being pushed ahead and it's not in a composite unit. So in this case, the vessel would display side lights and nothing else. Now this is because the vessel that is pushing will display lights at the end of their vessel. In this example, you can see what the rule is stating in item 2 of the rule. This vessel is being towed alongside another vessel, so they would display a stern light and their side lights at the forward end of the vessel. They would not display their masthead light because they are not under their own propulsion, but they must display side lights because they are moving. Rule 24G refers to objects or vessels that are being towed but are partially submerged. The first item in the rule states that if it is less than 25 meters in breadth, one all-round white light at or near the forward end and one at or near the after end, except that dracones need not exhibit a light at or near the forward end. So this diagram illustrates what the rule is stating. If the partially submerged object or vessel being towed is less than 25 meters in breadth, then they would need to display an all-round white light at the forward end and an all-round white light at the rear end. Now, when the rule is referring to a dracone is a large, flexible, watertight tube intended to carry liquid cargo that is often towed behind vessels. These would not need to display lights. The second item in the rule states that if it is 25 meters or more in breadth, 2 additional all-round white lights at or near the extremities of its breadth. Now, this diagram shows you what the rule is stating. In this example, the partially submerged object is greater than 25 meters in breadth, then in addition to the all-round white lights located at the forward and rear ends, the tow also needs to have 2 additional white lights located at the extremities. Now, this is important because what this does is it allows the outline of the partially submerged tow to be visible at night to other vessels. The third item in the rule states that if it exceeds 100 meters in length, additional all-round white lights between the lights prescribed in subparagraph 1 and 2, so that the distance between the lights shall not exceed 100 meters. So let's take a look at the diagram. This diagram is going to illustrate what the rule is stating. So if the partially submerged tow exceeds 100 meters, then additional all-round white lights need to be placed. And this is going to ensure that the tow doesn't have a large span without lights, and it really helps identify and indicate the outline of the tow. The next item in the rule states that a diamond shape at or near the aftermost extremity of the last vessel or object being towed, and if the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, an additional diamond shape where it can best be seen and located as far forward as practicable. So what this rule is stating is that the partially submerged tow needs to have a diamond day shape located at the farthest point back. Additionally, if the partially submerged tow exceeds 200 meters, then the towing vessel needs to have an additional diamond shape where it can best be seen. Rule 24H states that where from any sufficient cause it is impracticable for a vessel or object being towed to exhibit the lights or shapes prescribed in paragraph E or G of this rule, all possible measures shall be taken to light the vessel or object being towed, or at least to indicate the presence of such vessel or object. So what this is simply stating is that if you're towing a partially submerged vessel or object and you cannot place these lights on it, you've got to do every attempt to illuminate and try to shine lights on that vessel. And this is going to help indicate to other vessels that are traveling at night in restricted visibility to identify. They're going to see that light that you're illuminating behind your vessel, and it's going to call out attention that you're engaged in a tow of a partially submerged vessel or an object. Rule 24I states that where from any sufficient cause it is impracticable for a vessel not normally engaged in towing operations to display the lights prescribed in paragraph A or C of this rule, such vessel shall not be required to exhibit those lights when engaged in towing another vessel in distress or otherwise in need of assistance. All possible measures shall be taken to indicate the nature of the relationship between the towing vessel and the vessel being towed as authorized by Rule 36, in particular by illuminating the tow line. So what this is simply stating is that if you're a vessel that's not normally engaged in towing operations like a towboat, you wouldn't have the lights available to illuminate the lights when you're towing another vessel. So if you were towing another vessel, you wouldn't have to display those lights, meaning that if you're navigating and you see another vessel in distress or in need of assistance, When you're not a towing vessel, you obviously are going to help that person. You shouldn't leave anybody out in the ocean that is in need of assistance. You're going to tow that vessel, but you're not going to be required to illustrate the lights that we just covered here. Now, the one call out is that you're going to need to do every attempt possible to try to illuminate that vessel. If it's restricted visibility or you're in a nighttime situation, at least to illuminate the tow line. This is going to prevent another vessel from navigating in between both of your vessels and hitting the tow line, or potentially even hitting your tow. Congratulations on completing the Rule 24 video. And again, I know that was a lot of information to cover, and I know I keep saying it, but it is extremely important that you fully understand and learn all of this before going to the next video, because as we keep going, if you're confused or you don't fully understand something, it's going to get worse. It's going to continue to snowball as we cover all of these lights and day shapes. So continue to study everything that we covered in this rule, fully understand it, learn it, and when you're ready, I'll be waiting for you in the next video.